of all, I think your analysis was very straight line. History doesn't run in a straight line.
Kid, you cannot tell your neighbor he is stealing ducks when you are stealing funds.
As High Commissioner, I was wrong. As Charandas Prasad, I reacted naturally how any person would have.
I did not come here for that kind of abuse. I did not come here for that kind of abuse. If you're going to go down that road, I'll walk off.
But it's all okay once they're talking. If they were talking, I could not have been here today.
You got ADHD.
I got that thing.
No, calm down.
I think I've done enough in terms of taking our team out of trouble from losing.
Come on, Lou Taylor. That's good. I'm reading the script now, and the first person that comes to my mind to play a detective,
Yes,
but
the
an
Guyanese critic.
erratic
Mikhail
detective, is Mikhail Rodriguez.
Why an African slapping Indian? Why a man and slap a woman? Look, girl, how you deal with that? You deal with that.
We must encourage platforms like this because it brings together different people and allows for discussions to take place in our country on a multiplicity of fundamental issues.
You apologizing for something you think I did is wrong. I don't want you to do that, and you should not have done that. Hi there, welcome to the Gildavi Show with our reliable co-host, our new co-host, well, he's not that new, he's been here since January, Akash Persaud. This evening in our studio, we have one of the most prominent young politicians in this country. And then he faded. He faded on his own volition. 2 years ago, he said, I am taking a 7-year hiatus from politics. 7 years is a long time. So we will tell you about this 7-year hiatus, which has now been broken tonight in the studio. This is an official announcement that the 7 years hiatus has been broken. So once again, welcome to the Freddie Kissoon Show, wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, good day. In our studio is the Guyanese counterpart of Sean Connery, 007 James Bond. I still can't imagine why James, the discotheque he has, well, you don't say discotheque in this age, but I call it discotheque. Cigar and Cognac is the name of his discotheque. And I keep telling him, change that thing to 007 discotheque. Anyway, James Akash Persaud, and thanks for being here for the 5th time. Now, in the 2 years he's run this program, thank you for being here for the 5th time. People like you have made this program a success. Now, cigar and cognac. You're not going to change that discotheque to 007.
No, it won't change it. It won't change it.
I think it would mind. Now, something is wrong. Something is going on. You sat in this studio 2 years ago and said, I am taking a 7-year break from politics. 7 years is a long time. When you're 13, you're 20. Big person going in the army, 28 people have their own kids. But that 7 years have been broken. James Bond, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, the PNC youth leader and former Central Committee member of the PNC and one of the prominent names in politics associated with the PNC, James Bond, has now officially re-entered active politics. This is the announcement that Mr. Bond will make this evening when he comes into the mic. He has now officially re-entered politics. So the question is, and I'm sure you're all curious, why at this time? I have my reasons why at this time, and I'm sure Akash does, but let him explain why the 7 years, 5 years have been chopped off of the 7 years. James, welcome to politics again. What can we expect? Sparks will fly. The last time I saw you in active politics, you passed by my home. 2 big, large trucks with a bullhorn announcing the results of the 2020 elections. Why?
It's very.
Are you up to some wickedness?
No, no. It's very simple, you know. The 7 years period, Fred, it's still on. But it's what is happening.
That's an oxymoron.
Yeah, but it's what is happening in the 7 year. I'm not in the competitive sphere of politics in terms of looking for office. I think you remember me saying.
Don't split here.
No.
You have entered politics.
I re-entered. Yeah, there is at what stage, at what
don't
level?
Don't split hairs. You've re-entered
stage,
politics.
at what level? For one, my plan was take the 2 years break. 2 years completely breaking off. 7 years is 7 years total. But 2 years would be to observe. The next few years will be to be on the ground. I'm not looking for any office. I think you heard me say that as well. If the PNC, FC said, James Bond, we have a leadership position for you, I'll say, I don't want it. If the PP had asked me, James, you want to lead, I said, I don't want it.
That was the 2 years when you were observing.
No, these are the full 7 years. That's for the full 7 years. That's what I'm saying. I'm taking that break from active. I don't want any leadership position. I want to learn. I want to see. I want to understand. So the next few years is strictly groundwork. One and two particular areas. The young people. I think, and for the record, I was never the youth leader for the PNC. I was one of the young persons who carried a flame. I said
one of the youth leaders.
Yeah.
Said the youth.
Sorry about that. Carried that flame in 2012, in 2015. And I want to see a new breed of youngsters carrying again the flame of the PNCR. It is something that most persons are telling me, James, it's missing. I can't do. I'm 45 years of age. I'm not young. So it's to get that it's to get that generation of young people again excited about the politics of the PNC.
Right? Akash?
Possibly, yeah.
Who could start a flame with the young people. A new breed of politics, a new breed of politicians. And that's what I want to focus on first, the young people. The second aspect of it is campaigning. I think yes.
Akash, listen
for the next 5 years, I believe we have to be strategic in terms of how we electioneer, how we campaign. This is win, lose, or draw. This is not saying, oh, we winning in 2025, we winning in 2026, we winning in 2024. But I feel you have to position yourself strategically from now to get yourself to the best possible chance of a winning election, whether it's 2025 or 2030. So I have to be involved in that process. I can't be out and not contribute to that process. So the two reasons why I'm back in active politics is for the young people, and for two, developing that coherent strategy for the opposition to get back into power.
Akash, before you come in, let's get these delineations correct for our viewers. He is saying he is back in active politics after 2 years. It was interpreted when he made that statement on his Facebook page and here that he's taking a back seat for 7 years. Now he's saying the 2 years up that he's observing, he's re-entered politics, but he's saying he don't want leadership position, he don't want but he will be
same back.
Can be same back seat. Can be same back seat.
Same back seat.
Can be same back seat when one, you intend to galvanize youth. When you intend to galvanize the youth of Guyana, it involves action. It involves doing things. It involves visibility. And then there's the campaign. You use the word campaign. So let's get this straight. We will now be seeing, whatever interpretation you want to put it, we will now be looking out our windows, reading the newspapers, going on social media, and we will be seeing the political activism of James Bond.
Yes, sir.
Akash, good. So we clear on that.
James, let me say this. There are a number of things that you're passionate about that I am too. I think you're a straightforward, positive thinking man who has a lot to offer in the development of this country and Guyana as a whole.
Yes, sir.
As a whole. And in looking to the future, James, I believe that you would make for good office. I believe that you're a good person to be in office. And it brings me to a question that I want to go to right away. And which party had a party had the slogan, forward ever, backward never? Remember
that was a slogan with PNC.
Right, the PNC. Was this PNC? Forward never. And let's look forward. James Bond, the man that embodies the characters from Roger Moore to Daniel Craig, from Moonraker to Skyfall.
With a license to move and move.
Surely under your telescopic political lens must be the seat at the top of the podium. So I am disappointed to hear that you're not,
why do you think he's going to say it openly?
When you look through that site and you're seeing that podium there, number one position, this man this character,
I give you a bet. I give both you guys a bet.
Why you think why at this time? We'll come to that.
And let me say this before I go on. I honestly believe that the playing field is open.
Yeah.
The playing field is open.
Yeah. And again, I'm a different nature. I'm a different beast. Different animal when it comes to politics. I have certain motivations. And I sat across from a very senior politician in this country. And they spoke about becoming a minister and all of that. And I said, I don't want that. What am I going to do with that? What am I going to do with that? So my motivation has never been self-serving.
You were offered something, or you were asked to
consider? We were in conversation. I was asked to consider X, Y, and Z. I was asked to consider that.
X, Y, and Z.
X, Y, yeah, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
You know, if you were with us, you'll be here. If you're with us, you could be there. I'm like, what am I going to do with that? I said, I want to be you. So my motivation has never been self-serving. So no one could offer me a minister work, or no one could offer me a leadership work. It's something I have to want and desire. And at this time, with great respect, Mr. Kissoon and Mr. Persaud, I don't want it for one reason. I think Mr. Corbyn, when I was running for leadership of the PNC,
2010,
told me a very important thing, and it stuck with me. He said, your time will come, just be patient. His exact words. He says, James, call me to his office. James, your time will come, just be patient. And that's what I've always been. Since then, persons could tell you. I served under Minister Lawrence, I served a lot of persons. Now is the time for service. You see, we got a lot of people who want to lead. I want to be in front. But I believe there's a time for that. And no, it's not my time to lead. My time is going to come. I know my time is going to come, but my time is going to learn the Guyanese people.
You're still young.
Know the Guyanese. You know, a lot of politicians don't know the Guyanese people. They don't know what the needs are of the Guyanese people. They don't know how the Guyanese react to certain situations. We kind of try to think forward, but Guyanese are a unique creature. The Guyanese psyche is unique. And unless and until you understand it, then you can't really lead. And a lot of problems we have with women, with young people, with opportunities, is because we don't understand how Guyanese react to certain things. So you could put a whole plate in front of Guyana, and they won't eat, because it's not in the shape and form that they're accustomed to. And that's why how could a nation with so much resources, so much wealth, so much brilliant leaders, still cannot take us up out of abject poverty? Because I think that a lot of leaders
think we have abject poverty?
We're still poor. Our people are still poor. The reason why we have not been able to do it, because the leaders have not truly understood the Guyanese psyche. Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham has difficulty with the Guyanese understanding his vision. He didn't know the Guyanese psyche. Dr. Chetty Jagan, Hugh Desmond Hoyt, you name them. I believe all the leaders we've had do not understand the Guyanese psyche and how to pull them out.
What more do you need to know? Because for me, when I look at you and the way you mix with people, I look at your commentaries, I listen to some of your videos. I don't see much that needs to be learned. And I'm telling you,
a lot more learning. For example, I'll give a typical example. You and I, Akash, you and I sit down here. You, I, and Mr. Kissoon. We're Indian and Negro. Let me just make a very distinct point. You know, you and I don't have any single racist bone in our bodies. You know it. You could look at me, you could look at me, I could look at you and know that. Your wife is Indian, right?
My
second wife was Indian. My wife is of mixed descent. Portuguese and mixed up with everything else. My first name was Douglas. I married an Indian. First, my mother is Indian family. My mother is Indian. Kilesa Parbu. How are you doing, moms? The fact of the matter is, why is it after all these years, we have not been able to fix that simple thing of Guyanese loving each other, understanding each other, respecting each other on the wider spirit? Why is it today I have to still hear all this talk about racism and this and that and that and that? Why are our leaders able to fix it? Because you know why? We do not take time to understand the Guyanese psyche. What makes X tick and think this way? How do we fix it? So these are some simple things that are huge things to me. And I believe the right kind of leadership is needed, but the right type of leader must understand what it takes to make that step forward. You can't pretend, say you're the leader of Guyana. You can't say the leader of Guyana when you can't command respect from the Indians, the Amerindians, the Portuguese, and the Chinese. You're missing out. And that Guyana's been missing out. That's just one thing. I go to so many other things. And I think that I need to study some more, understand some more of my Guyanese people, walk with them, talk with them, hear their experiences, so I could better relate and come up with policies and programs to fix that.
All right. We start, good. So, May 2024, James Bond is on the ground. No one watching this program will forgive us or forget us if we have you on this program at a time, at a juncture of the PNC, when so much is going on in the PNC that appears to be negative. There seem to be a serious leadership challenge going on in the PNC. One person has declared his candidacy, Roger Ford. Another man, Ganesh Mahipal, said, look, there are more than 200 cells or groups in the PNC in Guyana. If they nominate me, I will not refuse. There is an invisible movement out there that is getting visible with Amanza, Walton, Desert. So things are going on. What is your configuration, or what is your, use a simple word, what is your maneuverability in that scenario?
First and foremost, I support Aubrey Norton 100%. 100%. So there will be no challenge from me to his leadership.
We are coming now to the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
You see? We're coming now to why you're here.
That is,
why
I would never.
We're coming now to why you're in the studio.
I would never doubt or deny. Don't let me deny that one of the reasons that made me, because it was to be, I had to become involved back into politics, the local politics, around September of this year. But the reason why I chose now before Congress is because I have seen a lot of stuff that you say on the PNC that I did not like. The attacks on the leader, for one. His office and his being brought into disrepute. I did not like it. You know, I believe a leader should be allowed to lead. A leader should be given the latitude of leadership. And I did not believe Mr. Aubrey Norton was being given a fair chance to lead. So I decided to pledge my support. I don't want to use this word, pledge my support. I want to be clear, to support him in his quest to regain the leadership of the party, because I believe he should be given a fair opportunity, fair chance to lead. It has nothing to do with myself. I've spoken to him and I've said, come a leader, I'm back. And I must let you know that I'm disinterested.
The prodigal son has returned.
Never prodigal. Never prodigal.
Go on.
You know, I'm disinterested in any leadership position. Just understand that. So I've spoken to my group chairman. I've spoken to Comrade Lawrence. Some young people who I brought into politics, I've spoken to them as well. And I could tell you the amount of people, the kind of response that I would have gotten since I said I'm back. It's been phenomenal. Persons that who were strategists on the HDH, Hugh Desmondite, they're saying they're now willing to come back and offer some support and help to the party. And this is great because we need help right now. And for those that say that the PNC is weak, I issue a challenge to you. Come to the PNC and make us strong, because we all know the PP Civic deserve a worthy opposition. Whether you like it or not, we must have a strong opposition in Guyana. And if you're saying the PNC is weak, there's only way to get a strong opposition to join the PNCR. Fix, if you see something is wrong with the PNCR, fix it. That's the challenge Winston Murray gave me. When I used to criticize the PNC to Winston Shripal Murray, my mentor, the man who brought me into politics, and East Indian.
More motivational input.
I'm telling you, there's a fact. It's inescapable with me. It's inescapable with me. Winston Shripal Murray, you said, James, you know, I love your views, but why you don't come over and think it? We used to have these debates all the time. But I only came over to the PNC when he told me he was running for leadership of the party. So the similar thing I will cheat is to challenge everybody who criticize the PNC. Oh, y'all weak. You want to see y'all strong. Come over. And I'm going to say no one could kill you for your views. You're entitled to your views. You're entitled to your opinion. And the PNC are, as I know it, and I've always known it, gives that space for a person to express their views, whether they agree or not. We give that opportunity to express your views. So for the young intellectuals, the progressives, the businessmen, the PNC is open doors. I'm there, and a lot of youngsters are coming back, getting involved, and that is the kind of thing that I want to see.
But James, you said you've spoken to people, you've got the response. There are some serious challenges when a woman like Walton Desert goes to those youths. People feel that this is a century of women. People are feeling that you should have a woman leader. We've had her here. She comes across good. She looks good. She's a good-looking woman. She speaks well. And then you have a man in the street, Ganesh Mahipal. And then you have a well-known Guyanese lawyer. It's going to be a tough race. And then the brigadier, the Rear Admiral, has become a doctor. He has a doctorate in national relations. You're going to look at him watching. So what I'm saying to you, suppose these people approach you and say, look, James, this is it. This is it. We are not going to succeed with our boy. Suppose they manage to convince you, they're very persuasive people. Like I said, Ford, more than 15 years as a lawyer, 20 years. Amanzo Walt Desir is a lawyer, worked with the state during the APNU government. You know, the Rear Admiral would have spawned a whole generation of young people in the army. What about, the thing is in August, what about if these people could convince you that, look, no man, nothing gonna mess up in 2025?
I'm always open to reason, and I'm always open to reason and a conversation. But one thing I want you, Akash, Mr. Persaud, to understand is this: if we were to list the qualities of Aubrey Norton, and I don't want to put it in terms of deference to dilute the qualifications of any other of the persons you've mentioned. I know all of these individuals. I know them. Amaz and I actually went to school together.
Two are lawyers. She and Boyce Ford. You're a lawyer.
I went to school with Amaz.
Legal colleagues.
Yes, I
and
know.
You're lawyer. Very, very good brother. Brother in arms. You're Obraj Narayan.
That's my little brother. That's my little brother.
Exactly.
He's back in. He came here, sit right down with
us.
That's
my little brother.
He's supporting the force.
He's right on the U.S. with Mr. Ford.
Yeah, right.
You know, and Miss Commodore Bess, Rear Admiral Bess, and I, we met. Just had a conversation a few days ago. So these persons are all persons I respect. Mm-hmm. But let me just say this about Aubrey Norton. When I first got into politics, Aubrey was there. I sat at the table with Aubrey Norton, Jeffrey Thomas, Ronald Austin Sr., Richard Van Charles, of course, Winston Shripal was a leader, Kat Scan, Jennifer Gilliam Burton, Mervyn Williams. These are all people that I soaked up knowledge from. Eugene Gilbert. These were all at the round table. And one thing you could never take away from Mr. Norton is one, his intellectual ability, a critical thinker, and a man of the ground. You show me a leader right now in Guyana, besides probably Barjaglio has an edge on Aubrey in terms of recently in a time span. But you show me any leader in Guyana that has served served the country in terms of activism, political activism, from since the 70s, from his youth to present day. There's no other person right now in Guyana. If you look at presidents, President Ali hasn't even touched the kind of scope political work Aubrey has done. The only person he comes a close second to Aubrey is Barjaglio. So Aubrey has had a career of serving the people of Guyana. And he's still grassroots. He still has that humility. And I think persons take that for granted. He's not this kind of uppity kind of guy. But I could tell you, driving to Linden with Aubrey, spending hours with Aubrey. I could call him Aubrey because we're that close. Going to his home. And I could tell himself and I, he's one of the persons we would go at Pleasant and sit down. Now, this is a leader I could tell you. When you talk about a father figure, when you talk about a person who could identify with you, this is the leader I'm talking about. He could sit and take a drink with you. He could go to a function with you. A lot of leaders, they take kind of uppity. I can relate to Mr. Norton because I'm that kind of person. I could come to your home, sit at the corner with you. So no other leader in Guyana, in my estimation, possesses what he possesses in terms of academia, in terms of street credentials. And people take it for granted. But he's known throughout the length and breadth of his country. I've traveled. The first trip I made politically with the team was to Arna Punta, Region 9. The man knows the entire village. We go to the East Coast, Lima Sands. We go to on the West Coast of Essequibo, the Essequibo Coast. He knows everybody along the coast. Who does that? Who does that? So for me, if you talk about somebody the people of Guyana already know, we don't have to go and package him now. Everybody in Guyana knows who's Aubrey Norton. And you tell me that's not going to be the best candidate going forward. So then you have to come with a more compelling reason as to why now we have 1 year to go. Then I now have to make you known to the rest of Guyana. To spend millions of dollars on marketing you. To make you more acceptable to Guyana. Where I have a man who's done this for decades. So I'm open to reason, but
I'm going to come to that, but Akash.
Listen, Freddie has mentioned to me a number of times that he worked with one of the most charismatic leaders the Caribbean has ever seen. And Freddie was there when the world has ever seen.
Bishop.
And when the bullets were flying, he was hiding there. He worked there. Charisma for me in leadership goes far. There are some men who knows nothing, but the charisma, the way they put themselves over,
I agree.
It demonstrates that I will take charge. Does Aubrey Norton have this? Because many people are saying they don't see this out there. They don't see this charismatic leader in Aubrey Norton. And I went to last election, just after the last election, a number of social media people were saying, this man ain't got presidential qualities and all that. Now, I'm not hitting on the man, but I'm saying...
it's okay.
I'm saying charisma goes a long way in politics.
Two things. Guyana has always been infatuated with leaders who speak well.
Dr. Politics.
Guy with leaders who speak well, who come across as this above life kind of figure. And the reality of the situation is more people are looking past the fluff. A lot of Guyanese are looking past the fluff. A lot of Guyanese want to see action. Who would tell me that President Ali is a charismatic leader? Would you use that word to describe him?
Yes.
Oh, most definitely.
No,
yes.
you wouldn't. Come on, man.
In terms of world politics,
could I say this,
he
sir?
has a penetrating presence,
Could I say this, sir?
Yeah.
We could be honest. President Ali is a hard-working president. Give him that.
And a very likable man.
Hard-working president.
Very likable man.
Hard-working president. But in terms of being this charismatic leader,
you don't think so?
I do not think so.
No. Anyway,
yeah,
we're
but
talking about. No, you have to answer his question.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling him. So there's a lot of persons who are presidents and who have gotten support without charisma, without that level of awe, that level of gravitas. Is that the word to use?
Yeah, gravitas.
There's a lot of leaders who've succeeded, and Aubrey Norton has the thing I think. The quality that I value most. And remember, politics is very personal. I may not see something like how I don't see this charismatic leader in Irfan Ali, but Mr. Kissoon sees it. I see a leader who is people-centered in Aubrey Norton. And I think Guyana could see that as well. And I think Guyana sees that in Aubrey Norton as well. So there are those who might see, I don't like him because he's not a Lyndon Forbes Barnum. He's not a David Great, but he is Aubrey Norton. And I think that is the key to everything. You have to be yourself. And he's only been himself. Nobody could say it for the years Mr. Norton Long, I have, that he's changed. He's always been this simple person, Guyanese politician for the people. All these decades, so that kind of consistency to me, I value it because when he gets into office, he's not going to flip on me. And I think that's what people need right now because remember, we've trusted a lot of leaders, and when they got that seat, you saw a different side of them. So we could trust Aubrey Norton to say, well, if he gets that seat, when he gets that seat, he'll be the same simple guy, he'll be the same humble guy, the same guy that meets the people wherever they are and seeks to sort their problems out.
You have to answer some questions about what is going on. Now, you can give your interpretation to a fact, but a fact remains a fact. You can give your own interpretation that John Jones should not have been fired. John Jones' firing was wrong. The people who fired John Jones are fools, but John Jones was fired. Yeah. Okay, now, you have this guy who's been around since the 70s. You have, I'm using your adumbration. You have this guy who would sit down at Bam Bam Ali, drink with people, he'd come into your house, have a metagy. But the facts are the PNC is hemorrhaging. Good. You've had Gita Chandan resign as General Secretary. You have the beef with an icon. An icon is criticized, Amna Ali. When you think of Amna Ali ethnicity, and she stayed with the PNC 50 years, become Minister General Secretary, people say that Norton took his eyes past the lady. Then there are these challenges. Now you're making out a case also based on Aubrey Norton's history and his personality. You should have had a rallying towards Norton, but you have some serious challenger, the head of the army, a well-known man around the place, Ganesh Mahipal, mixed with people, Roysdale Ford, top lawyer, Amanza Walton Desir. Surely they must have their reasons for saying, no, the PNC needs to go in a different direction. We need to save the PNC. And I think they're saying we need to save the PNC. Now you've had this thing with a membership dismissing. Dr. Gary Best said, this is unacceptable. The General Secretary, Dawn Hastings, said she did not give anybody permission to remove the membership disc. And things keep going on. Most Guyanese believe there's a little water under the bridge between Figaro and Norton. And things keep happening. In other words, the word hemorrhage may not be inappropriate. Can you stem the hemorrhage?
For one, I don't think it was the leader that attacked Miss Amna Ali. I think the response to Miss Ali came from the chairman of the party.
No, it was Norton, and then the chairman.
Okay. Well, let me just say this. I've said
he
this.
defended Norton.
Yeah. I've said this in defense of Miss Ali. I've said, look, persons will always have their views, and Miss Ali's contribution. We
Over
don't need
50 years.
Yeah, I would never question that. I mean, myself and Miss Ali would have had, I think, a public, myself a Persaud, what I remember, where Miss Ali tried to throw me under the bus. And
so you got a beef with the lady.
I don't have, no, but the thing is, no, I don't have, the thing is with me, I don't have beef with anybody. Miss Ali could tell you that we met, I think it was at Minister Lawrence's birthday, and we hugged and we said, I love you to each other. That's the kind of person I am. If I could be very frank with you, but I hold no grudges. And people don't understand that. I hold zero grudges because I know who I am. So I
007.
Yeah, I know myself. I know myself. You know, so I hugged Miss Ali. I said I love you because I respect her as a woman. I can't even walk in her shoes with the amount of contribution she's made towards the People's National Congress before. But aside that, look, and it comes back to the point where I said, not everyone wants to serve. To me, there's too many persons want to lead. And that's my honest opinion, you know. I come from a culture where, probably this is me growing up in a Christian home with my dad. Today's his birthday. Should I say happy birthday to my father, the Reverend Leslie Bond. Today's his birthday. And I grew up respecting authority. You know, I can remember when Pastor Messiah would come to my home. I would clean their shoes. That's the kind of person I am. So I love service. We grew up with the Amerindians. So we accustomed to being of service to people. My mom is a health visitor. So I'm different in terms of how I perceive leaders and perceive leadership. I believe you got to serve. And I believe that a lot of the hemorrhaging, a lot of the stuff that is the nastiness that is coming out is because some people do not want to subject themselves to authority. There has to be a time when you have the discipline. And that's why I love China. I love China. I was in China once and I wish I could go back regularly to learn from the Chinese. It's the discipline they have. And I think if we have a disciplined culture, the PNCR, then we wouldn't have what you would call hemorrhaging. I don't think the leader should be blamed for a missing CPU. I think if there's something that did occur, where would it go? It's right there in Congress Place. If you said someone stole it, bring the police to an investigation. But it's not something to now make it seem as if the leader is trying to rig some election. Aubrey Norton doesn't need to rig an election in Congress Place.
Okay.
He is the most popular leader in Congress Place, in the party right now. He's known by every single group. When Minister Joe Harmon went up against him, was soundly beaten. So this is not a situation where Aubrey has to...
No, it wasn't Harmon, but Basil Williams.
Joseph Harmon, the last
2020
the last Congress was with Mr. Harmon.
Oh, the last
That's
Congress.
right,
Yes, he was soundly beaten by Aubrey Norton. So
In December 2020 when Aubrey won?
When Aubrey won, he was soundly beaten.
Yeah.
I thought Harmon... okay.
Harmon was the main contender.
Yeah.
Basil Williams contended.
He was not. No, Basil was nowhere in the picture. Basil contended when it was President Granger, myself.
So in the last election was Harmon versus
Norton.
Okay.
And Norton won handsomely. So there's no question that Aubrey Norton, as it is right, is the most popular PNC person in the PNC.
Oh yes, Harmon did. I wrote a column on that. Yeah.
So,
but no, he got less than 50% of the votes.
I can't recall the percent. Yeah, but
you could just Google it.
Aubrey did extremely well. He will do extremely well again. So to say it as if the leader is involved in some shenanigans, etc. No, I believe now is the time for the party to rally around. If you don't want to rally around the leader, rally around the party. You don't have to like the leader. You don't have to. I tell people every day, I say you don't have to like anybody, you know, but there's a job to do. Let's get it done. I'm not here to be friends with you and to be the godfather to your kids. But we have a job to do, which is one, to make the PNC a viable opposition, and two, prepared for office. What does that have to do with liking a leader? Or if he's at Bamba Mali, like they like to accuse Aubrey of. You want him at Marriott or Pegasus or somewhere else? Is that what you want? Because when I go to Marriott, or I see a lot of leaders there. Is that where you want your leader? Because at some time he has to socialize. Where should he socialize? With a common man, or must he socialize with the big wigs? So that's the choice. If you ask me, I would like to see my leader at Bamba Mali, at Pleasance Line Top, at the Guinness Bar, at Cigars and Cognac.
That's right.
You know, that's why I like to see my leader. And he came to my place a number of times. So I'm for Aubrey Norton for a number of reasons, but the most important is he's a man of the people.
Akash?
Look, James, I think your re-entry into politics is both pivotal and critical. And I believe that this move that you're making will forever be etched into the annals of history of this country. And I am disappointed that when Freddie told me that you were coming on the show, I honestly thought you were coming to say that you're going to be challenging for the leader position, because here's why, James Bond. You have what it takes. I am telling you this, and I don't be wrong about many things. But let me ask you this. You're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And you have been running a successful business. Are people in this country ready for business, James Bond? And the other thing is, why is it that some businesses boom, go big, 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 and then gone with the wind? They don't even exist more. They can't even afford a caravan after that. And my next question to that, it's two-part. Must give me your thoughts on the Brooklyn boycott also.
No problem. Let me just say, shout out to the Guyanese musicians, the Guyanese artists, and Guyanese
I see you
music.
pushing that.
Yeah, I started in February 27th, and I'm still supporting local music. I think we have a lot of talented persons in the arts, drama, music, poetry, etc. We need to support them.
If I know you, when I bring my guitar, you can sing. Sing a few, Bob Marley. Won't you help to sing?
Ah, that's a nice song, Freddie. That's a nice song.
This is favorite song.
It's all I ever heard.
Go on.
Redemption song. Old pirates, yes, they rob by.
Take I to the merchant ship.
Many years after I did took I
to the bottomless.
Yeah, it's good enough. You like it.
But my hands was made strong
by the Almighty.
We forward in this generation
triumphantly.
All right, good. That's enough for them. Go, won't you help me?
I can bring my guitar the next time.
So
that's good. That's good, man. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
We sang.
Respect our mothers.
We gotta come sing our
you're using your street thing to help out.
I'm glad I did up. Can I say this here? Can I say this here?
Yeah.
I'm so happy that we've spent some time on Mr. Norton. I'm so happy.
Yeah, man.
The reason for that is I don't think a lot of people rise.
You up to if you was
a lot of
watching the line supported voice there, we will have
I don't think a lot of people give him a fair chance. I don't think a lot of people be honest about him. You know, and I think there's some people that have to come and say who he is as a person. You know, I think he deserves that kind of representation. But
entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Why is it that people are people ready for business? Why is it that they boom and bust? And Brooklyn boycott.
Yeah. The first thing.
I think he answered the Brooklyn thing. He said it's for Guyanese.
Yeah. For the entrepreneurship. Let me say this here. Being a businessman is very challenging. You know, and
cigars and cognac.
Yeah, we started in 2020. I started.
Oh God, why you name that thing that anyway?
Yeah, I love cigars and I love cognac. Yeah.
You got
my two passions.
You got any Cuban thing in your car?
I don't have any in the car.
The next time you come in here,
I'll bring one for you.
Me, I never smoked in my entire life. Anyway,
you puff. But my person don't know this. I mean, I've inhaled that tobacco smoke must be about 10 times in total.
Okay.
And I've been smoking for years.
Two sniff,
yeah, one, two puff.
Yeah.
Yes, I smoked marijuana. I smoked marijuana a few times, and I must call for the decriminalization of it.
Yes, we do that all the time here on the show.
You know, it makes absolutely no sense.
But don't ever scotch you.
Entrepreneurship is very tough, and I think the bravest people in the world are entrepreneurs. The bravest people in the world are entrepreneurs. I've been it for 3 years, and I could tell you, it's been tough going, managing people, and it's not always good. The challenges are numerous. For example, there's a human resource problem. Mm-hmm. Imagine, I could tell from my experience, I recently invested considerable sums to do some expansion to my business. And I took on some people. And bro.
There's the thing with the pool and so on?
Yeah, man. Up to now, my pool isn't up and running because of what the individuals do to me. And I've invested millions in that, you know. So I can't say why people.
The pool is attached to cigar and cognac?
Yeah, I have a pool.
And it's not up and running?
Not up and running yet, you know. And
I know outside the studio when we talk, you said that thing isn't.
No, the people, like I said before, man says, James, do this, I do it. I pay, get it done. When pay, next thing you know, it's this ain't working, that ain't working. And that's a problem in Guyana, you know. Mm-hmm. People, and I'm kind of too much.
Would they employ some Venezuelans, man? Them people
they're the best people.
After, like again, somebody comes to you and says, look, I ask. I don't just jump and do
Right,
stuff.
right, right.
I'm not that kind of person. I call around and I ask. I says, yeah, I want to do this. Who do you think? Who would you recommend? Two of my close friends says, look, we got this guy to do it.
And the man is.
Oh man! Then next thing, the man ended up puncturing the pool. The pool has 2 holes. I found one, can't find the other. I end up falling the pool twice. Built the the foundation the man did collapse. So I had to go do over the foundation for the pool. So it's a whole heap of things. So when you talk about Chinese business,
Venezuela. Them
When you
people will
talk-
build that thing,
In a
them
day.
Cubans in Venezuela.
When you think
them
about
Cubans in Venezuela, what's wrong with
Yeah,
you?
the migrant.
When you, but
You know them
I'm Guyana
the
first, right? I'm
Cuban
not saying I won't
talented,
go
buddy.
elsewhere, right? But
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying
sure, say it.
based on the
Them Cubans
recommendations I
running the
got.
Johnson Hospital, running Bobby's
You know.
Hospital. Get the Cubans.
All right, let me go. The Brooklyn boycott. There's a hot topic right now. The President Ali. You know the story. President Ali visited some businesses
Yeah.
in Brooklyn, and there was some call for. But what's your take on this, James?
Let
As a
me
businessman.
just
A
say
Central
this.
Committee member of the
That-
PNC came out strongly against it. It's
against the
in
boycott.
papers too.
Yeah. German did come out. German's a businessman
And another guy.
and a member of parliament, and I came out
He
against
came
it.
out strong.
Yeah, and he
But
should.
that's your
I
baby.
came out
Nobody would
against
believe you would support that because you've been saying that black people must get into business.
Thank you very much.
Right.
And I tell people, I said this here, and I can say this publicly, in 2011 or 2012, when I was one of the persons who called for the boycott of Hits and Jams and Cash from Shanghai, when them guys come out with their red shirt, with the PPC red shirts. And I was one of the persons who said boycott Hits and Jams, boycott Cash from Shanghai. After we got into power, I met with Kashif, Shanghai, Kerwin, Roll at Hotel Tower. Myself and another APNU MP. I'm not gonna call Roll and them guys because we've patched things up. And those guys explained to me. I says, you know something, this is not what you may see. They don't use the political correct argument. Look, we have a right to support whoever we want. That wasn't the argument they used. They was like, yo, we're black people. We're black people. We employ black people. And I'm like, James, how then what you're saying makes no sense. If you're saying that you're boycotting somebody because of their political persuasion or political influence, why you not boycotting the Chinese and the Indians and boycotting everybody else? But you boycotting a black business. That's stupid. So based on that, I will never call for a boycott. Because how can I call for a boycott in this country when one of my clients who any problem, Mr. Bond, I need your advice. It's a Chinese. I know they're sympathetic. They're sympathetic to a political party. But I'm not going to boycott them. I have it up to the day. A friend called me from Berbice. One of the big businesses in Berbice called me just to check up on me. He said, you don't got this number. I said, no, I know this number, boy. He is a PV supporter. So I'm not going to boycott. I says, look, me, when you come in, when you friendship, I'm not going. And I took, when I have to get materials, I buy materials from him. He sends from till Berbice. He sends his trucks down. From Berbice. Less cheaper than Gafour's, cheaper than everybody else. And Indian businessman in Berbice. So I'm not going to boycott him even though he's PB. So why am I boycotting these businesses in Brooklyn? I got videos I didn't want to put it up. The people, the restaurants, one of the restaurants in Brooklyn sent me a video of APNU having a celebration, APNU activists, our activists having a celebration at their place. So the man is like, James, look at this. I still have the video here. They're singing, dancing, all APNU people in the bar. And you're now telling me to boycott this guy here? Make it make sense. This is your supporter. This is a man, if you go to Brooklyn and it says you got to get a contribution, he's going to give you a contribution.
But this man is an activist to hate President Ali. Is his president coming and
that's
visiting?
no, that's the other side of the coin. That's the other side of the coin. But let's deal with the first aspect. You're trying to shoot yourself in the foot by saying, look, I want to boycott a business that is known to support you. You have to be a special kind of stupid to say, no, I know that James Bond is giving me or contributing to my party, But I'm going to boycott it because you're the president. So we come to the other argument of the legitimacy of President Ali's visit. He's the president of all Guyana. And that's why I look at the PB Civic and the President Ali.
So this president should have shunned him. For what reason?
He's the president.
I am telling you, if Granger had gone to an Indian area as president in New York, I think those Indians would have come out and said, Mr. Granger, and then, you know.
Everybody does it. We all do it.
It's just normal.
The president is treated different from everybody else.
Yeah, he's the president.
Because he's the president of all Guyana. And that is why I tell people, I don't look at the PP Civic as a party.
Right.
I says, look, they're the government of power.
That's right.
So you can't tell me, oh, you can't do the PP, you can't do this. I says, no, you have to go to them because they're the government. If you want to get stuff done, be free to go to the government. They have to do it for you. So the president is now coming to your business, to have an interaction with you at your business. Man, come on, man. I'd welcome the president to open arms. I've had ministers at my place. And I could say this publicly. I told them I don't want a single cent because it was an honor for me to have the ministers there to provide for them because that is the government of the day. You know, so I don't understand this kind of foolishness. And I'm saying, when will the foolishness end? That was my post. When will the foolishness end? Because we have to reach a stage of maturity in this country whereby we could see beyond race. We see beyond politics. And again, I doubt it's going to be fixable easily because I think certain people, that is how they achieve relevance. I think that's how they keep a certain section of Guyanese and tune into them. That they have to be this negative. You know, they can't afford it. The thing is, they box themselves in. That's a pity. No, they could never free themselves of this box. Even their own supporters, even the people from who they're boycotting now will always look at them and say, you know something is wrong with you. I don't think you have our best interest at heart. You know, so for those persons who the president wants to visit you, welcome with open arms.
James, our operator signal, we got to go. So we got to observe the rights of the operators.
Yes, of course.
This is your 5th appearance here, and we thank you. And when the campaign gets going, you're welcome to be back. Akash, very briefly, anything to 007? Yeah. The man has renewed his license
to politics.
Yeah. James,
very briefly.
As I said, of George Lansby, Roger Moore, Sean Connery, Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, Daniel Craig. Which one embodies you more?
Pierce Brosnan.
The suave.
I think Pierce is so cool. I mean, that was the day when I watched a lot of James Bonds as a young man. Mm-hmm. You know, Pierce, The World Never Dies, Tomorrow's Yours.
Anyway,
very, very smooth.
So, what are your when? I shouldn't say when, you've hit the ground already.
Today is the first day I'm going to be hitting the ground with the MPs at South Private Park.
And then you're
working there.
So from here on, we will be, Guyanese will be seeing James Bond in Sophia, James Bond.
Of course, of course.
I think it's a formidable task though. There's some serious challenges.
Yeah, of course.
There's some serious challenges.
Yes.
I think there's a possibility that Aubrey may be in trouble, but you wouldn't see that way.
Yeah.
Over to you, Akash.
James, we have a little problem in this country, and Freddie, I'm not sure if you know about this term, and it might come over as wrong, but in Guyanese parlance, it is accepted that certain terms can be used. We have a Dunstug problem. Freddie, have you heard the term before, Dunstugs?
Dunstugs?
Yeah, James will...
There's young people for you,
right.
James.
But James, we got this problem where young people are not getting up and moving. They're going to be left behind. How do we fix this?
And that's one of the things that I spoke of the Guyanese psyche. And that's why I said we could have the whole platter, all the food, and they're still not going to the trough. It's a serious problem in this country because I believe Guyana has so many opportunities, so many in terms of trades, in terms of education, the scholarship programs are being provided. We have so many opportunities for young people. But how we package it, I think, yes, the young people should see it for themselves and get it. But again, you know, most persons come from a home where their parents were not exposed to this. We talk about the vulnerable groups here. Their parents were not exposed to these kinds of opportunities. So they're not aware. I think we need a more aggressive approach, starting with data. It must be data-driven. The school dropouts, the persons who are not employed. those two factors, those two groups, I think aggressively going after them in terms of getting training, getting them incentivized training.
Right.
We have a big budget, but how much is going to the vulnerable groups? Incentivized training, getting them involved in the masonry, carpentry, the welding, and that kind of thing. Teaching financial literacy. I think one of the most underrated things we take for granted is the use of money. And I myself, as a young man, no one taught me this. I think most of my parents said, make sure you pay your tithes. But no one taught us how to balance a budget, how to prioritize your needs and your wants. So as a young person, I myself was a victim of splurging on things I did not need. And a lot of our young people are falling victim to the same thing. I asked a friend in the vulnerable group, the ghetto, I says, man, I see y'all getting a lot of contracts. I see people getting stuff. How is it that people are still poor in the ghetto? How come they're not lifting Tom, Dick, Harry, Jennifer out, creating opportunities right there in that space? You know what he says? He says a lot of them get these contracts. They go in and buy gold chain and buy car and buy all that. No, as a young person, I could identify with that because that was me. If I get money today, get money tomorrow, it wasn't going towards an investment, towards a savings, towards this, towards that. But no, in my old age, I had my CBR, you know.
Yeah.
I had to get the LTs. No, I got rid of that. I got rid of that. I don't had any accidents. I think
I'm bad driving on the road now.
Yeah, but I think the thing is, we need to be taught financial literacy. You know, we need to be taught how to make a dollar spread and to increase and to grow. So for me, I see a more aggressive approach from government. Government is too laid back. You know, I think their vision is there's a single-mindedness towards growing the infrastructure of the country, that the human resource is being neglected and left behind. And I think that may be a risk. You have to have balance. The government is not aggressively empowering the resource, the human resource of this country, in terms of making them more educated, making them more trained, more disciplined. And
over one of the largest budgets.
Yeah.
Is the assignment in the budget is education, man.
I want to say this here, Uncle Freddie. You know this here to be true. Education is not book. Learning is not books. I mean, you could provide all the schools, and a lot of the monies is spent in education is actually on infrastructure, building schools and that kind of thing. I'm speaking of trainers, training, and even training the trainers. How much of the resources in the budget is going towards the actual educating of the young people, of the young minds? We have too many school dropouts. I mean, myself and Minister Trotman, Raphael Trotman, had to help a young lady the other day. And I'm going to tell you, she's still struggling to send her kids to school. But it's not something that we could do every single week to provide X amount of resources. So we have to figure out a way, again, to create the policy that aggressively goes after these young people. We're losing a lot of young people. Do you know how many persons are being robbed by persons on motorcycles?
Yes. That's part of the DP crew, man.
Why aren't we figuring out a way to get them away from crime? There has to be another opportunity, but they don't see it. They don't see, something. Let me go to GITC. Let me go to BIT. Let me learn to drive a truck. There's so much money. You rob a man. I see a woman the other day got robbed. The police wanted to run, was about to get robbed. A cell phone, you rob a man of a cell phone and a company, you get $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. But you could become a truck driver, a welder, and one of the FPSOs.
Make them a day.
And you're making $500,000. You're making $500,000. So we have to find a way in which we open the eyes of the Guyanese people. Again, tap into the psyche of the guys. What will push and motivate these young people? For me, we used to listen to our parents. We grew up with mom and dad. My mom said, James, I want to be a historian. She says, what are you going to do that? Teach? Go do law. So I listened to my mom. I want to do law. But a lot of persons don't have that in their homes. So then we have to fix a home situation. And a lot of things with poverty and these guys is a direct result.
You still practice law?
I retired.
Oh, at 45?
That's the best time to retire.
It got to be 43. You apply.
I gave 20 years to law.
You give to?
I gave 20 years to law.
But But
The law gave me 20 years. Thank you, law. Law gave me 20 years.
so you're full out into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Cigar and cognac.
Cigars and cognac. I'm trying to-
You're going to have another branch anyway?
I want to do another branch.
You
but
promise give Gabby when the man come to the place is free.
I never promise free. I don't promise free. But no, you know, like I said, you come, you'll be treated well.
Freddie, we will
Young
text
people,
you.
young
We will
people
go.
like
No,
Akash.
Freddie, you gotta go. You gotta go see the
No,
pool.
I got
You gotta see
but the
the
pool
pool.
don't look like he give me none for just so unless he employ but listen here, hear this. The campaign starts. The election is November 2025. Obviously the parliament will be prorogued 3 months before or more, and long before then the campaign starts. So you're gonna be on the ground campaigning.
Yeah, the PP start campaign already. The PPP has, and that's the thing. One of the things that I like that I was outside is that I got to rub shoulders with certain persons with PPP Civic. You know, and just hearing, like, you got to be quick. You got to hear what they're saying when they're not saying anything. And being around them, hearing certain things being said, you understand the PP Civic is a different animal politically. And I think we have to take the kind of discipline they have when it comes to campaigning. You know, we have to inculcate those same habits when it comes to campaigning. They've already started campaigning. They've already started campaigning. And we can't wait until an announcement is
In what
made.
form they can? I hope you're not confusing party and government. Government has to
People's
go and build well.
Progressive-
Government has to build
The
schools.
People's Party Progressive Civic, the People's Progressive Party Civic has already begun campaigning for 2025.
And what are the manifestations?
For one, the kind of activism they've been involved
You're
in.
not
Community-
confusing government and
no,
PPP.
No. Could I say this here very clearly? The PPP Civic, whether in or out of government, the party and government is one and the same.
No, man, no.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you.
UG, the hospital, the schools are national property. Government has a constitutional right to provide benches and books in those schools. It's not the PPP.
Can I say this? Very simple. Do you see the amount of fundraise the PPP Civic is having?
Why the PNC can't have that?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. My point is, they've already started. I'm not saying why the PPP. I'm not saying why the PNC can't do it. I'm saying they have started. The amount of fundraisers they've engaged in, the amount of community meetings they're having. It's been this. You could disguise it and say, "Oh, this is government. It's not PPP." But trust me, when you see the PPP Civic Minister there, he ain't going to talk about government. He's going to say the People's Progressive Party Civic. He's pushing his party's agenda. You see how much flags they have?
That's
right
their
now?
Congress. That's their Congress.
All of that is part and parcel of campaigning.
Yeah, but
as a political animal, that's what I see.
Yeah,
you may not see it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, be careful.
I don't have to be careful.
When the Minister of Housing goes up to a place and give 100 people certificate of housing, those people are entitled to that anyway, James.
You know one of the things I like about Irfan Ali? You know one thing I like about him? He's always campaigning. You think him in Brooklyn?
No,
was
man, you mistaking duties of a president with campaigning.
That's how the People's Progressive Party Civic is trained. And that's in mindset. We have to have the PNC. Everything we do must be to win the hearts and minds of Guyana. Everything must be a campaign. I'll take it right now.
For our viewers here, our guest this evening was James Bond. James had suspended active political, profound political activism for 7 years. But after 2 years, he said he looked at the situation and there are factors that calling for his re-entry, and he's re-entered politics, and he's supporting Aubrey Norton for the leadership. The PNC Congress in August, and before then, we probably will have James and other people back. We will see you later in the next program. On behalf of Akash Persaud and 007, bye-bye, catch you later.